Tonight we are going to discuss a new movie that just came out. I'm going to ask these ladies some questions because they have seen it and I have not. But before we get started, I decided that I wanted to do something because since we're a small show and we've got a limited amount of viewers at this point in time, it's pretty cool because we kind of have the opportunity, or at least I do, to communicate with some of those people on kind of a personal level. So I was told this story from a friend of mine who he was watching our show because I had asked him to check out our show to give me some feedback. Anyway, long story short, I don't know if it's because we put him in the mood or if it's because we were boring, but him and his wife ended up kind of getting a little bit busy during the show. With that being said, they paused it, and he looked up, and there was me staring at him, paused, and that he had to get up and stop what he was doing to uh, change it because it was uncomfortable for him. But we jokingly said that if he ever happened to impregnate said significant other while my show was on, that he would name his child after me. I don't know if that's true or not, but I would like to test that theory. So with that being said, that and the fact that we're discussing Nosferatu, I decided that tonight I was going to set a little bit of a mood on my end at least, and light some candles here to get the mood going. In case anybody out there wants to get frisky, set the mood a little bit and get kind of some nice candlelight here, something romantic for the ladies.
You'd have to do a demon
Typical.
face, like.
Um, so I thought we'd.
Okay, I don't think I could do it as like her.
So I thought I'd start off with some. I'm gonna go ahead and get some candlelight here. All right, so that's good. It's like the power's out. It's a lot of fun. Now shut off my main light here so we can kind of get the real feel here. There we go. All right.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
that's a nice mood setting
That looks good.
situation here. And now I'm gonna go ahead and cue some nice romantic music for the background as we get started. So that's happening right now. And then if that got you going, I'm probably gonna, I'll give a couple of faces here and there where you can pause it, where it's like a really nice, like, look up to you like a, you can pause that. But I'll give you one or two more as we get going in case things get a little wild. But other than that, this little special introduction from my friend here.
Oh, that
do-
is really cool though with the candles. That looks very
Oh yeah.
Nosferatu-y.
I mean, if that doesn't get her going, I don't know what will. I mean, I know romance, and there's nothing more romantic than some nice candlelight here. So I'm sure you guys, I don't mean to get you guys going. If I did, I'm sorry. But so with that being said, also we are discussing Nosferatu tonight. So also dark movie with that same vibe. So if you paused at this point, here's another one. All right, and with that being said, we'll go ahead and turn the romantic music down a little bit. We're off here in a second, and we'll start discussing this movie. So, I did not get a chance to go see this, and you guys have a really short, if you get my drift, story about you guys seeing it. So go ahead and tell us about that.
Yeah, so I wanted to go see it with you and like with Jake and Rob, but unfortunately, I guess it just timing did not happen, and I wanted to see this movie desperately. I wanted to go the Christmas Day, but so I did. I was kind of scared, so I convinced my mom to go see it with me, um, and so I got tickets. And right, but me and my mom sat down, and right when the movie happened, Jen, here comes Jen and her boyfriend, and I was
Yeah.
like, Jen.
Yep. Yeah.
So that
We
was
had
pretty
said
funny.
So
we had
long story
told you guys.
short,
Oh, go ahead.
they watched the movie together. I've got a theory because Jen did tell us when she was going that Liza's stalking her, but it is what it is. Um, and I've also got this nice fancy glass while I'm with the candle.
Ooh, very
So
nice. Very
I
appropriate.
didn't get a chance to go. I think it is kind of weird that you guys ended up sitting next to each other because I know when
Yep.
you like reserve ahead of time, that's
Exactly.
the weird part.
Yeah, that is exactly.
Not that you guys were there, but the fact that you're sitting next together, that's the weird part.
Would
So
not even planned at all. Totally,
yeah,
just happened.
there you go. Wow,
Fate.
it's coincidental. Life is what is it? Small world. That's the thing. It's
Yeah. For a small town. That
for a
too.
small town.
Yeah. That 1 o'clock, 20% off matinee.
Yeah.
So if everybody by now does not know the story of Nosferatu, we did do a show on it. You can go back in time and see that. It's on our YouTube channel where we discuss Nosferatu and Dracula, which are actually based off of the same story, just different variations of the character. Nosferatu originally was a black and white silent film. I actually really enjoyed it. I think I'm not huge into like old black and white silent films, but I do think that that one in particular is quite good. So it's worth giving it a watch if you're interested. But what we're talking about today is that there's a remake of this. The most exciting thing about it to me is that Bill Skarsgård's in it, and I also really enjoyed the original Nosferatu, so I'm kind of excited to see what goes on with that. So with the fact that I haven't seen it, I'm just going to go ahead and ask you guys a couple of questions. The first thing is that you guys know that I respect and appreciate Robert Eggers' work as far as like I do think that he's good at what he does. However, for me, a lot of times his films aren't necessarily my cup of tea. I find them to be a little long, drawn out, a little boring. I'm not trying to knock the guy because I do think he's very good at what he does. And I mean, there's something for everybody, and that's okay that it's not really my cup of tea. But how did Nosferatu kind of fit with that? Because I mean, the original even was a little bit slow. It's not the most action-packed movie, I will say that, the original. How did that work? How was the tone of the movie, do you think? How did he portray that as far as it being? Would you say it was kind of long and drawn out, or?
I mean, it's definitely long. I will admit that there were some parts in the middle where I did get a little bit bored, and I rested my eyes for just a bit. I didn't fall asleep, but I did rest my eyes a little bit during some of the parts.
That is some J
However,
Cash
I
shit to
think
do right there.
right. I do think that the first, not counting like the little bit in the middle, the I freaking loved. There were certain like bits of cinematography that I just thought were absolutely like amazing.
Yeah.
Very very impressive.
I would
There's
definitely,
a
I would
couple
see
scenes
that because
in
that's one of the
particular.
things Robert Eggers is great at. You know, I mean, he
Yes.
really is good with the, that kind of course.
Yes.
Continue. I'm sorry. I was just saying that
Um,
I would definitely. There's one thing you were like, hey, how do you think this movie's going to be? I would say I would think that it'd be very, very artistic, very creative, very interesting as far as the cinematography goes.
oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain scenes like towards the beginning that I just thought were amazing. There was the scene where like right before he goes to Count Orlok's castle or whatever mansion. Right before he goes there, there's the scene with like the horses. And do you remember that scene? You like that scene
The
too?
horse carriage scene that was basically black
So
and
good.
white. Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it sounded like a heartbeat when the horses are like galloping. It sounds like a heartbeat, and the cinematography is great in that part. And also when he's at Count Orlok's castle,
Mm-hmm.
that part was amazing. It blew me away. I was just like, this is going to be a great movie. And then it kind of like lulls it like in the middle, and then you have like kind of a quite a lot of stuff going on like at the end, which is natural. I mean, one would expect that. It's towards the end.
Yeah.
um, and some fairly wild stuff happens towards the end. At least some think it's wild. I didn't think it's that wild. But I heard another person talk about it, and they were like, I don't know if upset would be the right word, but I guess surprised at the sexualness that happens in the movie.
Hmm.
Um, it didn't phase me any because of all the crazy movies that I watch. Um, but yeah, like I think overall it was a really great movie. Definitely had it. There's so many great scenes. I do have some criticism about uh, some stuff, but I think I'll leave that for like a little bit later if that's cool.
Okay, yeah. You're mentioning the sexuality in it, which I think with that
Hmm.
story in general is kind of
Oh yeah, it's given.
expected because I think that it being now, if anybody's seen Dracula with Keanu Reeves and Gary
Yeah.
Oldman,
So good.
that was a very sexual movie as well.
Yes.
Gary Oldman was very sexual. He kind of exuded sexuality as Dracula, if you will, at parts of that movie, I think. And we're talking about that being the same, essentially the same story as Nosferatu, really. Now, I think that
Extremely
people
similar.
have certain. Sorry.
Extremely similar stories.
Oh yeah, I mean it's the same story. It's just two
Yeah.
different variations of the character.
Yeah.
So because of copyrights and things like that, they couldn't call him Dracula, so you just count Warlock. Um, sorry. Yeah. So my point is that I think a lot of people are trying to compare this as an updated version of the first one or something like to that effect. The issue that I think that we'd have with that is that the original was made so long ago that it would be impossible for them to really even tell the story, if you will, with the vision that was probably meant for the novel, because just you couldn't really show things like that back then. I mean, they were a lot more strict on what could be seen or what could be in the mainstream, unless it was like pornographic, basically, which then it would just be, behind the scenes at some bachelor party, here and there, whatever. But this was a mainstream movie, Nosferatu was. And ironically enough, back then, people considered it to be horrifying. There was actually places that banned it and things like that. We talked about in our original show.
I thought it was pretty scary. I mean, I saw it a long time ago, but I remember being younger. But the Nosferatu, I actually was kind of scared because that creature he was pretty scary to me.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
On a side note, there actually is an interesting movie that has John Malkovich that kind of is a movie about making the film of Nosferatu.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's
I didn't know
pretty
that.
good too. I believe it's
I
called
want to say
something
Shadow?
Shadow.
Shadow of a
Yeah.
Vampire, I think. Well, that was
Shadow of the
Oh,
Vampire.
kind of a
Yeah,
while ago.
with
but
Okay.
John
that's what it's
Malkovich.
called.
And I remember that being pretty good. But I
There's
guess the point I was
also-
getting at is that you'd expect in Dracula, the Dracula that we saw in the 90s with Gary Oldman and Keanu Reeves, you'd see more of that sexuality because the times had changed. So I think a lot of people that are expecting Nosferatu to kind of be like a remake of the original, they're going to be very shocked and surprised because there's just so much more nowadays that you can see, view, and put in a movie than you could back then.
Yeah.
So I would expect that it'd probably be kind of in between, somewhere between the original Nosferatu and maybe Dracula. You think it was definitely more sexual in nature than like Dracula with Gary Oldman, or even like let's say Interview with the Vampire?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that Bram Stoker's Dracula, I think that was actually a little bit like more romantic.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
this movie is not romantic, like
Oh, it's just
at
more
all.
like it's more just a kind of more explicit, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm trying.
I mean, kind of explicit, but to, I
Less
guess.
consensual.
It's almost like demonic.
Yeah, more like possession. Um, I don't know, like just more like horrific sexual, I guess. Um, I just okay. Here's the thing. So with Bram
You're
Stoker's
not
Dracula,
turning me off. I'm just gonna say that.
right? With Bram Stoker's Dracula, it's like Gary Oldman became like a huge sex symbol. Um,
Yeah.
he probably was before that too. I don't know. I just remember that being like the point where he was like rose to like being a sex symbol.
Yeah, all the
And
women wanted him
everybody
to
was
secretly take them in the night,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was one of them. Um,
and I bet you were.
so yeah, I mean, Keanu Reeves was cool too. Of course, everybody loves him as well.
Well,
But
he's more
in
of a sex symbol now.
particular, his character Dracula was just not derp, because
Yeah.
the acting just wasn't there for him. He
Yeah.
was just, I guess, eye candy. Anyway, but yeah, he had it. He had it all. Uh, but yeah, like it was just more romantic. And then if you see Nosferatu, this current one, um, yeah, I don't think he's going to be a sex symbol. I don't think Bogart is going to be a sex symbol in this one because, well, first of all, he doesn't even look like Bill Skarsgård.
I heard
Like, at
I heard the
all.
transformation was
At all.
pretty incredible.
Yeah.
My mom
would
even
say.
was like she said that she was waiting for Bill Skarsgård to come in and she couldn't figure out where he was.
Right? Because He doesn't look like himself at all.
Well,
He
he's
didn't
one
even
of those.
sound like himself.
Yeah.
No.
Well, he's going to
Yeah.
be one of those amazing character actors. It's just like with Pennywise.
Oh,
I mean, he was incredible. His voice, his whole look. I mean, he's really good at that. He's good at being
And
in
Pennywise,
character.
though, you could still see his eyes. Like, you could, in his
True.
eyes, you could tell it was him. But
You
this,
can kind of tell in the
you,
face shape too that it was him. Yeah,
but with Nosferatu, I could not tell at
not
all.
at all.
Okay, wow, that's impressive because I thought Pennywise was really good. So. Okay, so it'd probably be more entertaining than other Eggers films for me. I mean, I think I like the.
I think it
like
was
the
because
subject more.
it I don't know, it just didn't really have that vibe to it. It had a completely different vibe, I think, even.
Okay. So
As
like
compared to Bram Stoker's.
Or
you comparing it
Eggers,
to that?
other Eggers, Robert Eggers films.
like The Witch, The
Oh.
Witch that
Yeah.
I wanted to watch The Witch really bad, and it was like entertaining, but it was like so long and boring.
I think you'll find
Um,
this one more interesting.
Yeah, I think it's more of a subject matter I like as well. Now, you guys are familiar with the original Nosferatu. The other question I wanted to ask, and you can choose to spoil as much as you want or not. I'll put up a possible spoiler alert, but how different are we talking? Is it from the original? I mean,
Well, I
kind
mean,
of
There's sound.
storyline.
the,
Well,
there's
yeah,
the
there's
names.
sound, dumbass.
all of the names are different. All of them. Every single
That's
character's
weird. I
name
wonder
is different.
why.
Copyright. I
Is
guess?
It has been a long time since I've seen it, but I remember her going to his castle. Eleanor or Ellen or whatever her name, Ellen going to his castle in the original, or am I
Oh,
mistaken?
in the really old one.
Yeah.
The
20?
silent film.
Oh, I don't really
Yeah.
remember that one very well. I saw it so long
As
ago.
opposed to him coming to the town. But I just remember, I just thought that I just remember thinking that she went to the castle.
I don't know. I don't remember.
But I could be wrong.
Long ago.
Okay,
It was
so
a really long time for me, too.
if I was to describe the original, I would say, okay, so like Bram Stoker's Dracula being the same story, it's hard to like. So we have Guy. Guy goes to Vampire. Vampire has Guy get him property. Vampire goes to property. Vampire basically steals said guy's wife, seduces her. People end up finding out what's going on, and eventually they go after him, and he ends up dead. Long story short, I mean, that's the Super Reader's Digest version of.
So in this one with Lily Rose Depp, she actually like a long time ago actually like said like a prayer or some kind of chant or something into like the universe and then awoke him. So
Really?
yes. And
That's
so
interesting.
like and then Thomas, her husband, actually goes there because he's in real estate and he goes there and he has this like locket of her hair and stuff, and then Count Orlok sees it and smells it, and so it was like, and so she has like this secret she needs to tell him that long ago she actually kind of, because like the first scene is her like kind of calling out to him.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's an interesting
Yeah.
twist. I mean, that's an interesting little addition.
And he actually comes across the sea in a
That's
he goes
what,
across.
Jim?
He goes on a ship to their
The Demeter?
town.
I don't know if they actually say the name of the ship because
Because
I don't-
the last voyage of the Demeter
I
was
think found
about
the copyright.
was
I can't
about
remember either.
Dracula.
Right.
That's the ship that he came over on.
I don't
That
think they mention it in this movie though.
that movie
Yeah.
was
They
actually
show it.
about the
They show the
voyage.
ship.
Yeah. Okay.
But-
it probably was intended to be. I mean, it sounds like they kind of stepped a little bit away from the original.
I think they did because
Little.
from what I remember of the original, I'm pretty sure it was completely different because like he also like brings the plague to the town.
Hmm.
So I don't really remember that.
Yeah, I don't really remember that either. The 20s one. By the way,
And he
there is
definitely
another
brings-
Nosferatu.
Yeah.
The
I mean, he definitely brings like
1979.
Doom. Yeah. I don't know if that's worth bringing up.
Okay.
So
I've never seen
I'll-
that one.
So I would like to also hear about some of the criticisms. So, Jen, if you wanted to go ahead and share the likes and dislikes of this film, I'd like to hear that.
Well, I mean, part of the yeah, there was a few times like in between the middle where it was like a bit of a lull, like not a lot going on. I can close my eyes for a bit.
Yeah, typical Eggers.
Yeah.
Some of the William
So,
Dafoe scenes were a little long.
oh, you think so? Yeah, I like him, so I
Or-
didn't even notice that.
No, I really like him too.
I thought he did a great job. I
Yeah.
think the acting was really well done. Lily Rose Depp, she did pretty good. Yeah, she did pretty good. Um, there was like a lot of scenes that were different to me from the original stories. It seemed more like possession, whereas I didn't really get a feel of possession in like some of the other ones, the other versions, including Bram Stoker's.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely, I think, some kind of like mystical, not spell, but I mean, I think that like they fell under his whatever. Well, I mean, I don't want to say the word spell, but like they fell under his whatever
Hypnotic
his charm,
Yeah.
charm. Yeah,
whatever
The
it might
vampire
be.
hypnosis.
yeah.
Whatever vampires do.
One of my other criticisms is I really think that music means like a lot in a movie. It's one of the like defining factors for me. It's one of the most memorable things. A lot of horror movies, they need to have really good music. And even though I think that the cinematography is amazing and the sounds were amazing, I don't know what that's called, like the sound effects, I guess, were amazing. Um, I didn't really like or remember the soundtrack, like the music. Whatever the score was completely forgettable. Whereas if you would compare it to Bram Stoker's Dracula, that was an epic soundtrack, very very memorable. So I don't know. It was kind of a letdown that the music to me wasn't that great. But I guess that's a small thing to be critical over when really a lot
Maybe
of
this
the
movie should have
was
been
good.
maybe this movie should have been made by Tim Burton in his prime. It feels like a Tim Burton kind of movie.
Yeah.
And then you would have had Danny Elfman because Tim Burton
Little
can't do
bit.
anything without Danny Elfman. And the music would have been pretty
Right.
fun. So
I agree. I didn't think about that, but now that you say that, that is true. The music was not. I don't really remember any of the music.
Exactly.
was there
Because
music?
I know that there was some music. I just don't remember it being memorable like at all. I don't remember it being memorable. um, yeah, it was just
Okay.
like I don't know. Maybe it just didn't mean that much to them or whatever. But they had some good sounds, like with the horses. That sound was like really cool. It was just like some of the sound effects were pretty epic and memorable for me. But the actual music itself, don't don't even know. Can't even tell you. Don't know the tune of it. Would never recognize it if somebody played it. I wouldn't be like, oh, that's from the most current Nosferatu. Like I would not know.
Interesting.
Yeah, a lot of good things about it though. The good
Okay,
outweighs
well,
the
why don't you
bad. Good
tell
outweighs
us
the bad.
some of your other critiques.
Um, I think I mentioned the scene, where he goes to Count Orlok's castle. Man, that was like so well done. Like the pacing was just perfect. Uh, the the tension was amazing. You could tell that Nicholas Holt was like afraid. There was actually like one tiny little part visually that reminded me of Legend, which I love
Okay.
the movie Legend. Just a tiny little part. Like if you were as big a fan of Legend as I am,
I don't think anybody is.
that would only be the kind of person, a big Legend fan that would even like see it and be like, oh, that reminds me of Legend. And it has to do
Comment
with like the
if it reminds you
statue.
of Legend.
Yeah, statue that's like in front of the fireplace or like near the fireplace, and it moves. And I was like, man, that totally. You remember that, Liza? When the
Yeah,
statue like kind of moves. There's a
yeah.
part
I
in
thought I
Legend
just
just like that.
imagined that. Oh,
No, no, it moved,
That
and
also
it
seems
made
like
me very
something that
happy.
would have That sounds also like something they would have probably done in like the original Bram Stoker's.
Yeah.
They were a lot more fun about that, I think. So what else you got?
You want
Liza,
to
is there
take this,
anything you'd
Liza?
like to add at this point?
What'd you say,
I'm
Jen?
talking too much. I feel like I'm talking too much. Do you want to?
Oh, you're not talking too
Any
much.
comments?
Liza usually doesn't have much to say, and I've
No,
never
I
seen
do.
it. So.
No, okay. Well, so the cons are basically Jen's. The middle was kind of long. It took me. I left the movie theater not really knowing what I thought. It did kind of leave you with like kind of a very uncomfortable feeling. Um, and then the more I thought about it, the more I thought it was such a good film. Probably one of the best films I've seen all year.
Wow.
Probably, I
About
don't know
time that you
yet
listed
because,
one.
huh?
About time that you listed one, you really couldn't come up with anything on New Year's.
So yes,
Oh, movie-wise,
so
you
this would have been in my top. Probably one of my. I would like to see it again, but this is probably one at least in my top 5 horror movies of all time.
Wow,
I thought,
all time. Whoa.
yeah.
Some
Well,
kind of epic noise.
I love the beginning, the horse carriage scene. If somebody told you that was the original Nosferatu, you would not have known because it looked like a 1930s film. It was when he was just walking and the snow was coming down. It was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
I thought the scene where Lily Rose Depp was like having the like kind of demonic kind of, and then they had like the sexual like. I thought that was incredible. I thought she did an incredible job.
Really? Okay, that was a question I had. Is that how is she as an actress? Is she only who she is because of who she is, or does she actually have acting chops? Because I've only seen her in a little bit.
I thought she did. I thought, I think she should at least, be nominated for an Oscar because I thought
Wow.
she did an incredible job.
That's a big deal. Okay.
Well, because I mean, just the demonic acting scene and then the end scene was just. I loved that. I just thought the end scene was like oddly beautiful. I don't know why, but it was just that end scene was just incredible. Her acting.
She deserves an Oscar, obviously.
I thought it was really good. I really liked it. I thought Bill Skarsgård was absolutely amazing. You could tell he put his whole heart into that because he like really created the monster. I thought it was an interesting choice to show his brutality is when he this is a big spoiler. So but when he killed the 2 little girls, I thought that was interesting choice to show his brutality. Because even if you kind of like started to have like, I kind of like started to I always sympathize with the monster, but then at that point I was kind of like, he is like really actually very brutal. I thought the choice to make him very grotesque and gross and I thought that was an interesting choice. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw
But
the
he
pictures.
still-
He definitely doesn't look as like smooth or as he doesn't look as polished as the first one.
But there
The
was still
original.
some kind of like, I don't know. I liked the monster. I thought it was really good. I thought Lily Rose Depp did an amazing job. I think William Dafoe did a really good job. I think the guy, I guess, who was like playing the Renfield-ish character was kind of gross.
Yeah. I didn't really like him.
I
much.
do.
Yeah,
I
I've
do.
seen better
I didn't.
Renfields.
Yeah, I didn't think he was that great. I did
Tom
think there was a
Waits,
lot.
probably the
Oh,
best one.
and there are kitties in there, and they do survive, and it's really cute. And she does love her kitties. Lily Rose Depp loves her kitties in this.
That's probably why she deserves an
Do you
Oscar.
remember?
Huh?
Liza, do you remember what I asked you or told you at the end of the movie, right after it?
Yeah. He said, "Are you glad the kitties survived?"
Yeah.
And there was like this scene where they're like walking through the city streets, and she had like the kitty in the carrier. There was like a kitty
Oh my
carrier. I don't know who
That's
knows
why
that.
you're so into her, because she's a weirdo like you.
I thought she was really good. I really enjoyed it. The more and more I think about it, the more and more I thought just how incredible it was. There was a lot of weird drooling that I wasn't particularly a fan
Jen
of.
probably loved the drooling.
There was
So
a
I'm gonna
little
go ahead and
drooling,
say
yeah.
Jen was a fan.
You
But
mean
I
when
mean,
she was having the seizures or whatever, the epileptic, whatever?
everybody drooled in that
Possession
movie.
seizure?
Like everybody was drooling. Even at the end,
It's
there
funny
was
because Bill
drooling.
Skarsgård was like uncontrollably drooling in Pennywise too.
I mean, that's just his thing, I guess.
Maybe he's a drooler. He's just a drooler. That's some
Missed
pretty big
opportunity.
accolades there, going from not knowing how she felt to it was amazing and top
Yeah,
movie
the top
of all
movie.
time.
Because I think I had such a hard time with it is because like I was so excited for this movie and I like had such high expectations, and it was not like I thought it was gonna be at all. So I think that's why I had to like sit with it and kind of think about it.
Thing to add, do you think Lily Rose Depp deserves an Oscar?
I think that there was a lot of really good acting in this movie. I
So you're
think
saying
that
no?
she did. I'm not done. So I think that she did do a really great job most of the time. I think that there was a couple parts where I think she's overacting a little bit. Like
Yeah,
overacting, yeah. Um, but I do think that she still did a good job. I just don't know if she was like my favorite acting person in this
Actress,
movie.
actress,
Yeah, or actor. Um,
actress, right?
yeah, actor can be both.
No.
I
Um,
do agree. I some of
You
the
can't agree. You
scenes.
already said she deserved an Oscar. What are you doing?
No, I
You're
think she did really
backpedaling.
good. I think she did amazing. Well, I mean, I think all performances you can find some critique with a performance, even though if you think it's
Yeah,
incredible.
well, not always
Um,
Oscar performing critiques.
I thought she was really good. I really liked
yeah.
her. I like her look. I think she has that like a great like kind of like I think she looks a lot like her mother and Johnny Depp.
Hmm.
And she just has this great like she has a very Tim Burton look.
Yeah.
And so I think that just fits so well with the movie.
So her face deserves an Oscar.
Well, because it has like I mean you couldn't put somebody like what's that girl's name like
Sydney
something
Sweeney.
Sweeney. Sydney
I knew
Sweeney.
it. I
Like
knew you were gonna
I
say
don't
that.
know if she would really fit in this. Like if even if she was like an incredible actress, like I just don't even think her face would have like her vibe would have fit with this
You're
movie.
right. It wouldn't have.
I feel like we need to have a vote. Nobody comments on these videos, but I want people to comment and vote Sydney Sweeney, Jen Ortega, or
Ooh.
oh shit, what's her name? Maxine.
Oh, Mia Goth.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Mia Goth, because
Actually, I
those
could
three
see Mia
names come
Goth
up
in
like
that.
constantly.
See that?
So
Jenna
those are your
Ortega,
choices: Mia Goth,
maybe.
Jen Ortega, or Sydney Sweeney. Tell us your
I mean,
favorite
Jenna
in the
Ortega's got the
comments
look.
below.
I think Lily Rose Depp is better than any of the. Well, Mia Goth is really cool, but
She was
I
really
think
good in Yoga Hosers.
We should talk just a little bit longer about the character Nosferatu, played by Bill Skarsgård, and the look of it, the look of that character, because it's like a grotesque version of um. Why did my mind just go blank? We were just talking about him. Gary Oldman. Oh my God.
Wow.
Gary Oldman.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like a
yes,
grotesque version of him. And I think it's supposed to be like, I don't know, like more true to like how somebody would look that lives in that area or something. With a mustache. And I do want to mention something that my boyfriend said because it made me laugh. When we were talking afterwards in the car, he was like, he didn't particularly care for the way that Nosferatu looked, and I get it, because of the older radiations or whatever you want to call it, the different variations of Nosferatu. He doesn't normally look like that. But he said he said that it reminded him of Rasputin from Anastasia, like the animated Anastasia.
Okay. Hmm.
And it just made me laugh, and it was funny. But he's not wrong. It does. He
Yeah.
does look like him.
Well, I probably right now as we speak have pictures of both of them up so we can compare them.
Nice.
Um, okay. Well, I'm definitely excited to see it. I'm gonna have to make sure that I am at the beginning of my day where I'm still wide awake, then at the end of my day where I could take a nap. I am excited. Bill Skarsgård is great. Like I said, I think Robert Eggers is talented. Um, Typically not my guy, but talented. Um, yeah, I'm gonna check it out. I think everybody else should, and let's go ahead and talk about that in the comments as well. What you thought of this movie? All right, well then in that case, I'm gonna go ahead and do what I haven't done in a while now, and I'm gonna go ahead and give you a quote, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and quote the original Nosferatu for the end of this and say, "Good night, y'all. Love you."